Hey YouTube, photography has led me to another small design challenge. You see, I just picked up this DJI Osmo Pocket 3 to help film some POV style photography videos. The challenge I'm having is that I don't have a convenient way to mount this to my chest or to my backpack, and so I'm hoping that's something I can solve with 3D printing. For inspiration, Peak Design makes this little retention clip that can just lug on to a backpack strap that receives these little plates that you can attach to the bottom of your camera, pop them together, and you have like a super stable way to carry your camera. The main reason I can't use the exact same solution is that the tripod mount, it's on the bottom here, and I don't want to have the camera sticking out of my chest like this. That would be goofy and ineffective. So let's dive in. The basic idea is I've got a print-in-place hinge that will close on the backpack, and then I have a separate piece on the end that I can lock the clasp closed. And then in the front, there's a slot to receive an Arca Swiss style tripod mount, similar to the one that is available on the Peak Design, but will also interface with my custom DJI Pocket adaptery doodad. Good morning. I'm out here bright and early on a photo walk, and now is the perfect opportunity to test my clip. See, the print-in-place hinge is working pretty well. I've got the little locking clip. Let's see how well it fits on my backpack. Success. And it feels very stable, and I think that's going to be perfect. Hey there, editor's note. I made one mistake with my original design. If I go ahead and pop this into the clip, it fits great, but the screen is on the back, right? And my idea was you could have it attached to your chest and kind of like look down and see the footage. But it turns out that DJI Osmo Pocket 3 has a wearable mode, specifically for situations like I'm trying to do where it's mounted to your body and trying to film level with the horizon, but also remain consistently pointed in front of you. The problem is that in order to do that, the screen has to be facing the direction of the camera. In other words, the thing needs to be flipped the other direction. I took my old design here and I turned it into a new design, but this time the Osmo Pocket 3 can face out away from the camera rather than in towards you. One other improvement I've made is that if you are using the tripod mount attachment or the battery grip, the old design didn't have enough room for the little button here to sit through. So you could put it in, and honestly it would still work, but it won't go down all the way because the camera gets stuck. So on the new clip, I added a notch to the bottom. Sorry about the focus there. And that notch can fit the button. So when I'm sliding the camera through, Now the little tripod handle or the battery grip, whatever accessory you're using, can just slide all the way to the bottom, and it even makes it a little bit more stable, you know? You won't fall out accidentally with that extra grip, which I like. Okay, I just wanted to walk you through how I set up this model for printing. Because we've got a print in place hinge, the orientation and the settings do matter. To get started, I'm just going to go ahead and import my step file. You'll notice it's all come in as one object, which is how I like to do things with step files, because it's so easy to split them in Bambu Studio. All we need to do is right-click, select Split, and to Objects. Sweet, now everything is its own part and we can move it around. However, there are actually two parts in this assembly that I want to remain together. These two parts of the clip are one group, and I don't want, when somebody else is trying to print this file, them to accidentally separate them and not have the hinge print in place. So I'm going to select both those parts. I'm going to right-click and say Merge, and that will put them in an assembly. And that way this can move by itself as a complete unit. The only other thing we need to do is lay this flat. It won't print in that orientation, and for strength reasons, I actually don't want it to either. So I'm going to select the Lay on Face tool, put it on its side, and we're good to go. The next thing we need to worry about is supports. So if I go ahead and slice this, you will see that it's going to pop up with an error. This assembly has some floating cantilever. It's referring to these two end pieces here. So to get this to work a little bit better, I'm going to go into my assembly here. I'm going to go into the Support tab, and I'm going to enable supports. And I think this will almost work for us. I say almost because that looks well supported now, but on this side, we don't really need a support there. If I go ahead and move down the layers to that specific spot in the print, the bridge moves between this corner and this end of the cylinder, and it does it pretty smoothly. There's no curves, there's no broken steps, so that tells me we do not need a support here. The 3D printer can totally handle a bridge like that. So all we need to do now is tell Bambu Studio that we don't need supports there. And how we're going to do that is by quickly hopping over into the Support Painting tool. We're going to look at the bottom. These little checkered areas are the areas it thinks it needs to put supports. And we're just going to right-click to paint red over that spot. And that will tell Bambu Studio, no supports needed, do not worry about it. So if we go ahead and generate our print again, you'll notice no supports. We are all set. Okay, one other thing I want to check before I move on to the strength settings, which are also very important, whoops, is that our hinge is clear. So the two pieces should never touch on the same layer. And so as we go up layer by layer, you'll see that the two parts never intersect. And that's exactly what we want for our print in place hinge. That will enable the two parts to move as soon as it's taken off the printer. The only thing left now is to set up our strength settings. I'm going to go into the Global tab because I want this to be true for all my objects. And I'm going to upgrade the wall loops to 4. If I go ahead and slice it again, you'll see that now the walls are much thicker. Yeah, the edges here are solid. You know, because this is such a strength-dependent part, I might even go up to 5. Why not? Let's give that another slice. Yes, okay, now the core part of the hinge here is entirely solid, and that looks good to me. So the final thing here is just that this grid infill is not the strongest, it's not the most rigid. I prefer gyroid. Oh, one final note. This is kind of a silly print orientation, suboptimal for the printer because it has to move its head around a lunge. Let's go ahead and have it automatically arrange them for us. Ah, beautiful. All right, that looks perfect. Give it another slice. Oh yeah, we are good to go.